What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Live with Brandon Blakely podcast. I know we've been gone for a little second, but we back like we never left. So make sure y'all kick back, relax, and come take a ride with your boy. Light straight. Welcome in, everybody. Man, we got a big one with women's college hoops starting back up. You know I have to keep y'all locked in with all the content. It is the best time of year for sports. And we got some big breaking news for you guys, man. Letting you know that Staley, South Carolina, they survived. They survived Michigan, 2-point ball game. And honestly, in my opinion, they desperately missed Ashlin Watkins in that paint, man. No shade to Chloe Kitts, who played a great game. No shade to Miriam Dowder. No shade to Snia Fagan. But none of these players are the defender that Ashlyn Watkins has become for this team. So we got the update that the charges have been dropped. The kidnapping charges have been dropped against Ashlyn Watkins. This is major news for South Carolina as they look to repeat as national champions. We're talking about a team that hasn't lost a regular season game in basically 2 years, people. Over 2 years. Welcome in, welcome in. Let me know how you're feeling about it. Daniel, welcome in, welcome in. My God. We got big news. Ashlyn Watkins is back for South Carolina. Well, not back in the fact that she's playing, but the charges have been dropped against her. This is major news, man, because South Carolina honestly struggled with Michigan and freshman Silas Swords, who absolutely lit them up. Big news for South Carolina. I'm kind of diving into it, getting into it a little bit. So we knew she was suspended back and charged on August 31st, and she's been suspended from all women's college basketball team activities since. She did not accompany her teammates to the White House in September when they got honored by President Biden. And we know now that there should be nothing holding her back from playing at this point. We know it was ugly. It started off ugly, but we know now that the charges have been dropped against her in South Carolina, which we know they take those charges extremely, extremely seriously. Now, last season, Watkins averaged, first off, 91 blocks. 91 blocks. Was one of the top 3 shot blockers in the nation last year. We know what she is bringing to the table as a shot blocker, which South Carolina desperately needed last season, or not even last season, last game, I should say. But she averaged 9.2 points per game, and she averaged 7.4 rebounds, which was second behind Camila Cardoso. So Ashlyn Watkins is one of those players, in my opinion, that is going to have a breakout season for South Carolina. I think her minutes are definitely going to see an uptick, and she's going to be one of those players that Don Staley really depends on to embrace a bigger role this season. Major news, though, that the charges are dropped against her so they can get her back in action, man. I know it's been tough, her being away from her teammates, being such a supportive teammate through all of this. And it's good that we didn't see a young player's life get ruined. That's the main thing. We did not see a young player's life get ruined for off the court issues. Now it came out that we found out the girl that she was dealing with at the time actually lied about the whole situation, made it up, and it was bad for business. So I hope Ashley definitely stays away and continues to keep the main thing the main thing. But this is big news, man. South Carolina was definitely tested against a very scrappy Michigan squad, and in my opinion, they were lucky to escape that. They were lucky to escape that. Holy freshman Silas Swords out of Canada absolutely lit them up. But y'all holler at me in the comments. If this is your first time, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, comment, share, and all that good stuff. There we go. There we go. There we go. But guys, if you're just joining, make sure to hit that subscribe button, comment, like, share, all that good stuff. Like we said, we know now the charges, assault, battery, as well as kidnapping, the charges have been dropped in South Carolina against Ashlin Watkins. Honestly, the best defensive player, the biggest defensive presence right now for South Carolina. They definitely could have used their last game. 91 blocks last season. And the way that Michigan was attacking that paint against South Carolina, they definitely could have used Watkins out there. And it seems like now there's nothing stopping her from rejoining this team and getting back on the court. It seems like up to the discretion of this coaching staff and Don Staley, and when they decide to incorporate Ashlyn Watkins back into the swing of things. But this is major news for South Carolina, man. I think for them, they were still the national championship favorites. It was close, though. With Ashlyn Watkins, I think they are undoubtedly, hands down, the unanimous favorite to repeat as national champions. We saw how, physical Michigan came in, went toe-to-toe with South Carolina, gave them everything they could handle, had the Gamecocks' backs on the ropes. That freshman Silo Swords is nothing to play with out of Canada, and she really went off. And I don't see her getting all those paint points against Ashlyn Watkins in that group. Hey, Chris, welcome in, my guy. Yes, we got the big news that Ashlyn Watkins, the charges have been dropped, and I'm expecting her to be coming back. Yeah, they needed her bad, man. Michigan was getting those paint touches. They were attacking the cup at will. And no shade, Chloe Kitts played a great game. No shade to Sanaya Fagan. No shade to Skima Walker. No shade to Adele Tack. But none of these players in the front court for South Carolina bring the defensive presence that Ashlyn Watkins does, man. We got to keep it 100. Yo, Silas Swords is absolutely the real deal. Oh, my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, Silas Swords is the real deal. 27 points, 12 rebounds at guard as a freshman. She is not getting 12 boards with Ashlyn Watkins. She is not getting 27 points with Ashlyn Watkins in the game. There is no way that she is getting that. I think with Ashlyn Watkins, the rebounding edge would have definitely went to South Carolina. This is big news for them to get their best player back. And I know South Carolina is not built on one player. This is a group that does it by committee. They're stacked at every position. And I think they are one of the most talented rosters in the country, hands down. Oh, now, like I was saying, man, South Carolina is definitely a team, a group that does it by committee. And we know that this is a complete team. But they were missing a noticeable piece out there, man. The fact that Ashlyn Watkins, what she brings, most importantly, in my opinion, from the defensive end, from the defensive side of things. Strictly from defensive. Yeah, she averaged 9.4 points, which I think will go up with more reps, more playing time, and the fact that she's going to be counted on. But Chloe Kitts can handle the scoring load, being the number one option. She proved that. But the fact that they don't have a true rim protector absolutely almost cost them. We saw how bad this team will depend on Ashlyn Watkins to protect the paint. Yo, Nuke, what's up? What's up? Welcome in, welcome in. We got the news. Ashlyn Watkins, she has not been cleared yet. She's not been cleared yet, but the charges have been dropped. So she is that much closer to getting back into the swing of things with South Carolina. In my opinion, man, just from a defensive standpoint, they desperately missed her presence out there protecting the paint. Not even just her blocking shots, but her bothering shots. Because I just don't see a situation where Swartz is down there banging in the paint. Y'all saw she got physical with Chloe Kicks and a couple of the South Carolina players off misses. Straight took the basketball from them and got easy buckets for Michigan, man. This game was a lot closer than a lot of people thought, and I think so. I commend Michigan, but this game was a lot closer than people thought, and I'm not gonna overreact. It's the first game of the season. Teams are still figuring out rotation, still figuring out their identity, so it's no need to overreact. But at the same time, I think we can all agree, man, this game was a lot closer than people thought. But shout out to Ashlin Watkins keeping a cool head and just weathering the storm, man. I'm glad that we weren't in a position where we saw the future of her future really damaged. You know, she's missing some games, but it was a time where some people really felt like her basketball career might be over. So it's good to see that she's going to be, like, the charges are dropped. This could have been really bad. This definitely could have been really bad. Like, not even from a basketball standpoint, but just from a life standpoint. This definitely could have been really bad, but she survived it, man. I just, this is a learning opportunity for her to come in. I think she's gonna come in hungry. I think she's definitely gonna come in with a chip on her shoulder, and she's gonna come in ready to play basketball, man. So I'm excited to see her rejoin this team. I'm definitely excited to see her rejoin this team. South Carolina has a juggernaut. Dawn Staley has an absolute juggernaut on her hands. It's no secret. But Ashlyn Watkins is a key ingredient for them if they're looking to repeat as national champions, straight up. So I think this is huge news for South Carolina. I think Watkins will come in with really a chip on her shoulder. I think she's going to come in on some revenge type energy. And everybody better watch out because as Watkins, man, she really makes this team a different type of squad, man. But there was a lot of basketball that went on, man. We know SC played, beat Michigan. They held on. USC held on against Coach Yo in that scrappy Ole Miss team. Kiki, Iriafen, and Juju Watkins looked like arguably the most dynamic duo in the country. Juju had 27 and 10. Kiki Iriafen had 22 and 13. When you talk about dominance, and Kiki definitely is going to be a top 2 pick in the upcoming WNBA draft. She is an absolute cheat code. Even with Talia Von Ohoffen not really showing up, Kennedy Smith played a great game. And USC has a lot more star power than last year. So I was excited to see them get it done in a tough matchup. A very tough matchup, man. Coach Yo is one of the most youngest, brightest stars coaching wise in this game. She always has Ole Miss ready to play. So USC, they're coming in with a lot of expectations, man. A lot of people have them ranked in the top 3 as far as teams in the country this year. And we saw last year with LSU, man, how a super team could fail miserably. They did not live up to expectations when they had Haley Van Lith, when they had Anissa Morrow come in. It didn't work out as we had initially all thought, in my opinion. They had some shortcomings. USC is going to have a spotlight on them. They're going to have a major spotlight on them, and a lot of teams aren't going to want to see them succeed just based off the fact of the roster they have. Yeah, and that's the thing. The big thing for Juju this season is going to be efficiency, Chris. I'm right there with you. Smart shot selection and not turning the basketball over, but still being able to get teammates involved because she commands so much attention. But yeah, efficiency is definitely going to be her biggest thing. But non-turnovers is ridiculous. She definitely has to get better with the decision making. They could have easily lost this game. They easily could have lost this game for sure. Smart guy, welcome in, welcome in. Yo, it's all over the news, smart guy. All over the news about Ashlyn Watkins getting those charges dropped. It's all over the news. Breaking news. I spent pretty much the first 13 minutes of this live kind of talking about it. But yeah, we know that Ashlyn Watkins had her charges dropped. South Carolina missed her desperately, her inside presence, her shot blocking presence. And they almost let a freshman knock them off game one of the year. They definitely missed them 91 blocks from Ashlin Watkins. But speaking of LSU, Haley Van Lith has continued to move on. And I got to pose a question for the chat because she came out and had 21 points, 7 assists, 6 steals, 5 rebounds. Was LSU and Kim Mulkey the issue? Were they holding Haley Van Lith back? Because she immediately returned to form with TCU. And I thought it was a really bold move for her to bet on herself and jump ship to another school, her third school in 3 years. But it's looking like that decision is going to pay off, man. Haley Van Lith is back to her old ways, back in her bag, has the ball in her hands, and she looks comfortable. She was out there playing young, wild, and free, man. And I think TCU is definitely going to have something to say in the Big 12 this season, man. They have a good group. Haley Van Lith balled out, though. Haley Van Lith is absolutely back. Do we owe her an apology? Question for the chat. First poll. First poll. Do we owe her an apology? Do we owe Haley Van Lith an apology? It wasn't a good fit. People were so quick to write her off last year, and I felt like she just was getting overlooked in that LSU offense. She never looked comfortable. They had her playing out of position. It felt like trying to force her in that point guard position, and she just needs to get back to scoring the basketball. She just needs to get back to scoring the basketball and doing what she does, man. Being effective. She looked efficient. She was aggressive hunting her shot. And to be honest with y'all, man, during that 3v3 tournament, she was absolutely the best player for Team USA throughout the Olympics. Nuke said HBL is a team hopper. Man, this feels like for Haley Van Lith, this feels like a last chance you situation. It feels like a last chance you situation. She came in last season at LSU, and I think she was a fringe first round draft pick on a lot of mock drafts, right? Completely played herself out of being a WNBA prospect. Was like the fourth or fifth option every night. Ended up losing minutes. Ended up getting benched at LSU. And I think a fresh start was the best thing for her. Where she goes to TCU, slightly less talented conference where they're not going to be hounding her, where she's not going to be getting exposed defensively every single night. She's in a situation now where she's got the ball in her hands to make decisions, and she can get back to scoring the basketball, man. That's really what she does well. She's one of the best mid-range shooters in the game. The three-point shot is looking good, starting to fall, and she's definitely coming back like she's got a chip on her shoulder. Like it's revenge season right now for Haley Van Lith. So salute to her. She looked good. She looked good. She looked confident out there. She was making shots within the flow of the offense. The rhythm was good. And I really got to say, she was out there looking like her old form. We got to remember just a few years ago, she was taking Louisville to Elite Eights and averaging 19.7 points per game. She is one of the most efficient as well as prolific scorers in the country. South Carolina problem is they don't have a post-up player, and Joyce Edwards looked like trash. Joyce is not AB, and she's not Cardoso. They didn't have a post-up threat. And that's the thing, because in my opinion, Joyce is more of a 3 than a 4 or 5. Joyce Edwards is definitely more of a 3 in my opinion, man. She needs to be out on the wing. She can play some 4 at 6'3", but having her as your number one post-up option, I don't think is putting her in the best position to succeed. That's just my opinion, man. But they're missing a Cardosa. South Carolina is missing a Leah Boston. They do not have a number one go-to scoring option right now. And maybe Ashlin Watkins can be that. I don't know. Maybe she can be that number one scoring option. I will say, though, Chloe Kitts played her butt off. Chloe Kitts absolutely played her butt off. I got to give her credit. Chloe Kitts played her butt off. She definitely played her butt off. Chloe Kitts hooped. And honestly, man, I expected Chloe Kitts to be the number one scoring option for this group. But yeah, Haley Van Lith back in her bag, man. Like respect to her. Respect to Haley Van Lith, man. We might owe her an apology. People wrote her off, and she ain't right back. They wrote her off, but she ain't right back. And then, speaking of comeback stories, man, how about Olivia Miles with the triple-double? Yo, when you talk about elite backcourts, Notre Dame is definitely my dark horse to win the national championship, man. They come in as a top 5 team. We know what Hannah Hidalgo did last season. We know what Sonia Citron did last season. We know what Maddie Westbed did last season. We know that this team is super talented, but when you get a player like Olivia Miles back, first game back off the ACL, triple-double, 20 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, you're talking about an All-American, just first-round, elite-level type of guard. Most teams are not losing in Olivia Miles and having the season that Notre Dame did. But now with Olivia Miles back on the fold, we see what they're missing. People were kind of wondering how Olivia Miles and Hannah Hidalgo would fit in the same system and how they would share the basketball. And we saw either one of them can play the one or the two. They're interchangeable, but you got two elite playmakers out there. Olivia Miles is absolutely one of the best dimers in the entire country. She comes in and she's making us remember who she is. I agree about Chloe Kids. Yeah, Chloe had a great game. She definitely had a great game. She was big. Double-double. She had 19 and 14. Like, she played an incredible game, and she's proven that she can be a number one scoring option for this team. I told y'all she had been in the lab, working on the perimeter skills and just continuing to improve in every aspect, shot making, being more efficient. She's a low maintenance player, but she shoots it at a really high percentage. But yeah, shout out to Olivia Miles, man. It's not easy coming back, trusting your body as an athlete coming back from a major injury. She missed an entire season last year. First game back, comes back and drops a triple double. Notre Dame is absolutely going to be a problem. And the freshman Kate Koval played an incredible game as well. Five-star center coming in, number one center in the freshman class this season. Notre Dame was missing a true post presence, and they got dominated on the glass a lot and in the paint last season. That was their biggest weakness. That does not seem like that's going to be an issue. Notre Dame, I think, absolutely has a chance to make the national championship game. When you got great guards, they have a true three-headed monster with Olivia Miles, Sonia Citron, and Hannah Hidalgo. Three of the best guards in the country. Citron and Olivia Miles will definitely be first-round locks in the WNBA draft. And you got Hannah Hidalgo, who finished second in Freshman of the Year. She would have been Freshman of the Year in any other class, not featuring Juju Watkins, man. So it's nice to see them gel together. This team, you can tell, has put in a lot of work. Coach Ivy, one of the great young minds in the game. Notre Dame is locked and loaded, man. I'm excited to see what they do for the rest of the season. Definitely excited what they have to show for the rest of the season. Brandon, you do not have to double Ashlyn at all offense. I don't trust Chloe at all in the paint. They struggle against Michigan. Wait until they play all you got to top teams. Yeah, I mean, they got Texas twice. They got USC. They got UConn. Yeah. Man, honestly, and we could talk about UCLA, man, because I loved what they did in the transfer portal. Tamia Gardner looked really good. Her and Lauren Betts played really well next to each other. The injury to Kiki Rice is going to be huge. That's something to monitor. That's definitely something to monitor. But UCLA brought a lot of experience back. They have a national championship level team, but do they have the coach to get it done? Does UCLA have that dog in them to get over the hump and beat some of these top teams? That's going to be the question, man. And how long will Kiki Rice be out? But as far as like top to bottom roster talent wise, UCLA can be mentioned with just about anybody, in my opinion. Like, this is an uber talented team UCLA has this year. I love, like, I'm expecting more from Dulich as well as Gabriela Jaquez. Dulich didn't even score. She played 15 minutes. Jaquez had 4 points, 4 rebounds, 8 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, excuse me. London Jones, the sharpshooting guard, 13 points, 4 assists. Tamia Gardner and Janiah Barker were two major additions in the portal. Gardner had 15, 1 assist, 7 rebounds. And then Janiah Barker had 8 points and 7 rebounds. But yeah, I'm expecting big things from UCLA, but are they going to get in their own way? Is UCLA going to get in their own way? That's the major thing I got with UCLA. They have a talented team, top to bottom. They have a lot of experience. They have that special sophomore class that are juniors now that have played a lot of games and won a lot of games together. But Kiki Rice has to steer the ship, and we got to see when she will be back, man. That's really what UCLA, I think, is going to depend on. LSU, a lot of people talked about them having the same week non-conference schedule they continue to have. They do not have any really tough test in this non-conference until they get into preseason tournament play. But Flau'jae Johnson, man, Flau'jae Johnson is going to be a player that is on that National Player of the Year list. I'm telling you right now, 25, 2, and 5 in her first game, her first legit game. She had 30 in one of the exhibition games. Like, I don't know what Simone Augustus has told Flau'jae Johnson, but it is obvious to me that a switch has flipped. We knew her, Anissa Morrow, and Michaela Williams were going to have to carry this team. We knew that was going to be the case. Yeah, a lot of teams got better in the transfer portal. And not to mention, man, this 2024 class is already shaping up to be a really good freshman class, and we'll get to that too. But we knew Anissa Morrow as well as Flau'jae Johnson would have to play big. Speaking of players coming back from injury, how about Samaya Smith in her first action in over a year? 15 points and 11 rebounds. How about Samaya Smith? She's going to be so major. She's going to be the X factor for LSU. They were missing her last year, man. It does not seem like Aaliyah Del Rosario is ready to take that next step. They're going to need Samaya Smith to continue to play the minutes and give them the production. She's a national champion, and I think she is going to be the X factor for LSU. We know they got a big three. They brought in some talented players. Cheyenne Day Williams played well for this group. She's fitting in. Kaylin Gilbert gave them a bench or a boost off the bench. Jersey Wolfenbarger, 6'4" guard. If they 6'5" guard, if they can continue to help her shape her game and get consistent shooting from her from deep. I mean, LSU already looks like a way deeper team than they were last year. And I think they got better, to be honest with y'all, man. With Samaya Smith and Anissa Morrow, they're going to be small. They're going to be undersized. That's why I think they're definitely going to need. I mean, Alea Del Rosario only played 9 minutes in this game. So they're definitely going to need her size. They're going to be undersized with Samaya Smith and Anissa Morrow. But Smith, 15 and 11 and 21 minutes of play in her first game back, that is definitely promising and something you want to see. I think LSU got a lot better. The biggest thing for them is going to be post presence. Are they going to be able to stay competitive on the boards with a small lineup? Because they brought in a lot of guards, but they didn't bring in any new post players, no size with this group. So they're relying heavily on Samaya Smith. Anissa Morrow plays a lot bigger than 6'1". We continue to see that, and she's a special talent as well. But LSU definitely is going to be very thin in the front court again this year. So they're going to rely on their guards. But Flau'jae Johnson is playing on a completely different level right now. I mean, she is sensational. She is sensational. And I'm loving what I'm seeing, her aggressiveness. She understands this is her team now. She's waited her turn. Samaya Smith has waited her turn. And now they're ready to lead this group back to the heights that they've grown accustomed to over the last couple of years since Kim Mulkey has been there at the head of this thing. And speaking of newcomers, really, really quick, how about Reagan Beers, man? Like, Oklahoma picked up such a. I mean, Reagan Beers, 21 points and 14 rebounds in her debut, man. They got some good play from Williams and Van as well. All three of them scoring in double figures. But Reagan Beers, we knew she was a problem at Oregon State, and she was one of the best transfers on the market. She comes in and makes an immediate impact in OU, who just joined the SEC with Texas, man. So this adds another wrinkle. Yes, Texas will definitely be tough. The SEC is going to be a gauntlet. Whoever comes out of the SEC as a champion is absolutely going to be battle tested, man. Because OU has a talented group. Reagan Beers gives them an entire different dynamic inside, and we saw she's super skilled, can shoot it. aggressive on the glass, like just has great presence on the glass, utilizes her body well, boxes out well, and truly has a nose for the basketball, man. So I think OU is going to surprise some people. They're going to be a lot better than I think people realize, man. But Reagan Beers played big. Another transfer, another team that got better over the offseason, man. And I'll tell y'all what, man, this 2024 class, 2023 is going to be a hard act to follow, but this 2024 class is already making waves for themselves. Some of the freshmen that really stood out: Georgia Tech, Danny Carnegie, 17 points, 4 rebounds, 2 steals. Vanderbilt building something down there. Michaela Blake's one of the top freshmen in the nation coming in, immediately getting the ball put in her hands. 23 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals for her. Louisville, Taj Roberts, 21 points. And hey, man, we see why Haley Van Lith might have got out of there. A couple other players might have jumped ship because Taj Roberts is the real deal. But Kinley Randolph played really good for them. They also have Azalea Arenas, 2 WNBA daughters. But yeah, McKinley Randolph is going to be a player as well. Clara Silva, 14.7 rebounds, 6 blocks for Kentucky. Georgia Moore played pretty well as well, had double-digit assists. Starting Kenny Brooks' era off in the SEC at Kentucky with a win, so big shout out to them. Georgia, Mia Woolford, 18 points, 13 rebounds, getting it done. We talked about Silas Swartz, 27 points, 12 rebounds, one of the top guards in the country. Layla Filia, jump ship from Michigan and joined Texas, who's going to be really good. We didn't know who was going to pick up the scoring load, but definitely Silas Swords is the real deal, man. I mean, she's out there getting off the dribble, hitting step backs, making players fall, getting to the cup at will, snatching rebounds away from the South Carolina bigs. Super physical, super aggressive. Michigan's looking like they're going to be just fine. And then Kate Koval, I mentioned, who's going to be a huge difference maker for Notre Dame, man. She had 18.7 rebounds, 5 blocks, and 3 assists. 5 blocks for the freshman. Notre Dame lacked a true big, a true enforcer in the paint last season, and despite the incredible guard play they had, they were getting eaten up in the paint. That seems like that is not going to be an issue, and Kay Koval really pushes Notre Dame into another stratosphere as far as a team with her inside presence to go with these guards, man. So definitely big shout out to her. Um, some other freshmen that really stepped up as well. I think Kennedy Smith looked really good, man. She is a doppelganger of Juju Watkins, but Kennedy Smith played really well for USC as well. 12.7 rebounds. She was the third fiddle as they beat Ole Miss behind Kiki and Juju Watkins. Kennedy Smith, McDonald's All-American, a winner. Big time pedigrees, played in big games. Another SoCal kid coming in. And hey, man, she's another freshman that played extremely well. Very, very physically built. A truck coming through the paint. Can finish through contact. Can shoot the three. She's going to be big on the wing for them. So I thought that was a major get. And she really lived up to the hype out of the 5 stars. We cannot forget about Jelani Cambridge either, man. Her and Cody McMahon and Ohio State are definitely going to have something to say. I think she's the best freshman point guard in the country. She had 31.6 rebounds, 6 assists, 5 steals, and 2 blocks in her debut. And you talk about a player that's getting it done on both ends of the floor. Jelani Cambridge wants some of the best handles, one of the silkiest, smoothest players in the entire country. She has that, like, Malaysian full Wiley bag, man, when it comes to just beating defenders off the dribble, getting to the cup, and finishing with style. Ohio State's definitely going to have something to say in the Big Ten, man. So she was big as well. A lot of the freshmen really stood out, honestly, man. I think this class is a lot better than people realized, and there's a lot of freshmen. I don't feel like there's as much star power as a Juju Watkins or Haley or Hannah Hidalgo, but I will say this class might be deeper. Toby Fournier out of Canada as well. This Canadian class was insane, but she made her debut with Duke, and y'all might have seen some of her highlights of her dunking and going viral. At 6'4", 10 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, 2 steals in just 10 minutes of play, man. This 2024 class is going to be special. Yeah, Raven Johnson definitely got to shoot the ball better, man. She's got to take more opportunity. She's got to knock down those middies. They were begging her to shoot the basketball. She definitely has to shoot the basketball better. Guys, if this is your first time, make sure to lock in, subscribe, comment, share, and just continue to support the Live with Brandon Blakey podcast. Much love to y'all, and follow us on all social media at Brandon Lee TV. But yeah, the freshman class was sensational. I think a lot of them really made a name for themselves early. A lot of them are being counted on to play immediately and fill some big roles. And this class is stepping up and living up to the billing, man. So I'm excited to see this class continue to grow. But yeah, Michigan looked good. They are going to be a sleeper in that Big Ten conference, man. And Silas Ward, if that first game is anything close to what we're going to expect from her moving forward, man, she is going to be big time. And Michigan is not going to skip a beat at all. But yeah, those were some of the storylines that I wanted to look over and cover, guys. There was a lot that happened over the last couple of days. And I just wanted to kind of hop on here and talk about some of these big storylines. I will keep y'all locked in with everything women's college hoops moving forward. But I just had to come on and really dive in and talk about some of these hot topics that are going on, especially since because we have been away for a few days, man. So y'all know I had to come back with a bang. And I appreciate everybody tuning in that's tuning in right now, man. Much love to y'all. None of this is possible without you great people, I gotta say. But I definitely, in my opinion, man, I definitely think Haley Van Lith is playing herself back into the WNBA draft. She is absolutely climbing those draft boards, man, and continue to show why she is one of the most dominant players in women's college hoops. So salute to her. I think she got written off too fast. With the poll, y'all are split 50-50. Y'all are split on this subject right here, man. I watched Virginia and some other teams look very good. Yeah, don't sleep on the ACC. Louisville looked really good. Louisville looked really good as well, man. I was excited to see what they had going. Louisville looked really good. I think they brought back a lot of talent, and I'm excited to see what they do. It's going to be exciting in women's college hoop season. And y'all know I'll keep y'all updated on all the latest and the greatest. But yeah, I just wanted to hop on real quick, not a super long live, but we'll be back live tomorrow to talk everything else that's going on. So make sure y'all hit that subscribe button, comment, like, share, and all that good stuff. That is a wrap for us. For all the latest and the greatest, of course, I'm your host, Brandon Blakely, aka Brandon Lee TV. Until next time, we out.